If you're new to electoral politics, or even if you've been around for a while, you may be looking to learn a little more about how to translate your passion and activism into working effectively to elect the candidates that you support. When you decide it's time to become involved with the DFL, the Democratic Party of Minnesota, it's wise to start by learning how the party works. Let's look at governing documents, party structure from local to national, and party process, how to get things done. Like all organizations, the DFL has a constitution and bylaws that contain all legal and technical requirements. But as a practical matter, the real nuts and bolts of how things actually work in the DFL are found in a document called the Official Call. You should think of the call as your guidebook, your how-to manual. It's your resource for all detailed questions about how to get things done in the DFL. You'll want to run a copy and keep it handy as a reference tool. The third governing document is the party platform, which contains formal statements of basic beliefs, philosophies, and positions on major issues. The action agenda portion of the party platform is rewritten every 2 years from resolutions presented and passed at precinct caucuses and ultimately voted on at the state convention. Your opportunity to impact the party platform is by introducing one or more resolutions for debate and a vote at your precinct caucus. A first-timer has the same opportunity for impact as a person who's been caucusing for 50 years. There's a form for resolutions in the official call. You can also volunteer to be on the resolutions committee, where volunteers prepare a resolutions ballot for voting at the local convention. They consolidate and clarify the caucus resolutions to ensure that every policy issue presented gets fair consideration. Precinct caucuses are your gateway to engaging with the DFL. Attending your local precinct caucus opens the door to participating in party activities from your local party all the way to the state convention and even the national convention in presidential years. Caucuses are held in February of every election year. The next caucuses in Minnesota are set for Tuesday, February 6, 2018 at 7 p.m. You can find out where your caucus meets by going to the official precinct finder on the Minnesota Secretary of State website. Just plug in your address and zip code. At your caucus, you can be elected to be a delegate to the convention in your local unit. Depending on where you live in Minnesota, your local party unit may be called a Senate district, a county unit, or an organizing unit. All three references are to the first convention in your local area held shortly after caucuses. At your local convention, delegates are elected to attend your congressional district convention and the state convention. In presidential years, congressional district conventions and the state convention elect delegates to the national convention. At your caucus, you will also have the opportunity to volunteer to be on a committee for your local convention. Volunteering for one of these committees is by far the easiest and quickest way to get to know your local party and the people who make it work. Don't miss this opportunity. It's a great place for new activists to engage with the DFL. For more information on convention committees, see our presentation entitled Volunteer to be on a Convention Committee. Each of these levels has its own convention. The convention at each level has party business to complete relating specifically to that level. First-time participants are welcome and encouraged to participate at every level. One important task at each level is the election of party officers. That generally includes, at a minimum, a chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, and an outreach and inclusion officer, all of whom will serve a 2-year term. Resolutions are voted on at precinct caucuses, local organizing unit conventions, and the state convention. The vote at the state convention determines the new action agenda. Also, at each level, the convention will select its candidate for the November ballot through a process called endorsement. Endorsements are made for different offices at different levels. Candidates for the state legislature are endorsed at local conventions. Candidates for Congress are endorsed at congressional district conventions. Candidates for senator, governor, and other state-level offices are endorsed at state conventions. The final order of business at most conventions is the selection of delegates to the next level convention. For many delegates, the most exciting part of political conventions is the opportunity to hear and meet candidates for endorsement as well as current party office holders. Attending your precinct caucus on February 6th opens the door to all of these possibilities. While there's a form available in the official call for use by those who cannot physically attend their caucus, it's by far better to be there in person. Your opinion matters in candidate selection, forming party values, and electing a more progressive government. So I encourage you to get to your caucus, meet your neighbors, introduce at least one resolution, and volunteer to be on a committee. It's where your DFL journey begins.